just realised I haven't put the microphone on.
Right, you are now live on the internet.
Right, welcome to this maths lesson. We're going to have a go at trying to look at standard form. So let's get started. Right. Now, let's take a simple number, and I'm going to take the number something like 5620.
The camera is backwards. Interesting. Okay.
We're having a few technical difficulties, right? And I'm going to look at this number. Now, when we write it in standard form, it's going to be 5.62. We don't need to leave the trailing zero. And what we need to do is work out what we've done to this number. So we've taken this decimal point, which is there, which you don't normally see, and we move it 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So we write 10 to the 3. We can stop the live stream and you can have a look at it if we need to, since it's backwards.
Well, the answer is I'm not sure if it is.
Well, I'll carry on. It's good fun. Let's take another number. Take a bigger number this time. Let's go for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to write that as 3.457. Decimal point's going to move from the end here 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So we're going to write 10 to the 4. Let's have a look at a much larger number. Let's have a number like 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's throw a few zeros after that. To write it in standard form, we want it as 2.345. We don't need the extra zeros, times 10 to the power of decimal points at the end. So we're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. So we write 10 to the 6. Right, let's try another one. 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to put 6 zeros after this. What do you think it's going to be? 3.45 times 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Personally, I find it easier to put the hoops in over the top, but you don't need to. There's no need to do that. And it gives us our number. Let's try another one. 56000. What's that going to be? Well, let's have a look. 5.6 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can have a bit more fun with some of these, and let's have a look at some other numbers that we can do. And what we're going to do is put some smaller numbers in. So let's start with 0.0045. Now, again, we're going to start with 4.5 and times 10 to the power of, but this time our decimal point is moving in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. So this time it's going to be a minus sign and the number 3. Let's try that again. Let's take another number, 0.00023. That's going to become 2.3 times 10 to the power of, and our decimal points moving 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 10 to the minus 4. Let's have a go. Get another one. 0.028. Let's write that as 2.8 times 10 to the, we know it's going to be minus 1, 2. 10 to the minus 2. Now, just as we can do that, we can also do the numbers the other way. So let's have a look and see what we can do with the numbers going the other way. I've got a number like 6.78 times 10 to the 5. Now, I want to write that as a real number. So I'm going to write 678. I'm going to move my decimal point 5 places. So we're going to start off, it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now where I've put my hoops, I'm going to put zeros. And what we have is my number, and we can write that out neatly, 678,000. So 678,000. Try that again. 9.23 times 10 to the 4. Let's write the number out. 923. We've got to go to 4. So 4 decimal places. So it starts here, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Put my zeros in under my loops, and we have 92300, 92,300. Another one, 3.56 times 10 to the 5. When we're playing with this, then we write our number down again, 356. Let's start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put in our zeros. 356,000. So 356,000. Let's mix it up a bit. We'll have a simple number like 2.8, but this time we'll do 10 to the minus 4. Although it's a minus, we're going to do it in exactly the same way. But because I know what's going to happen, I'm giving myself a little bit more space. 2.8. And our decimal point starts at this point. It's minus, so we're going to go the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where my decimal point's going to be. Put my zeros in, and it's nice to have a leading 0. So this gives me 0.00028. Let's try that again. 3.67 times 10 to the minus 3. So what have we got with this? Well, I'm going to write my number in, 367, and starting here at decimal point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 0.00367. Get the idea? Oh, hopefully you do. Right. Should we try one more of those? So we'll go with a number like 5.28 times 10 to the minus 6. Quite a big lot of zeros we're going to have to play here. In fact, this is going to be a very small number. 528, and we go across. So we start here, minus, so we're going to go in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0.0000528. Now, once we've managed to try and get happy with doing some of these things, then we need to work on other basic problems. Now, the other type of problems that we get, some papers aren't particularly nice. In other words, they might give you a number which they say is, well, how about 4 million? Can you put that in standard form? Well, to do that, we've got to start writing our number out. So we've got our number, and then it's easy. This is going to be 4. We don't need to put in the point if it's just a number. There's only one number here, so it's 4 times 10 to the, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 to the 6. Many people can just write that one down straight away, as it's not a problem. What other things can they do to try and make your life awkward? By they, I usually mean teachers like me. Let's have 36 times 10 to the 5. It's gone wrong, this one. It shouldn't be written like 36 times 10 to the 5. That isn't in standard form. So we're going to go with 3.6 times 10 to the, and we're going to move our decimal point one place. So we're going to increase this 5 to a 6. Let's have another one. 21 times 10 to the 9. So this is going to become 2.1 times 10 to the, we've moved the decimal point one place, so this becomes 10 to the 10. So I hope that's given you some ideas there about how those things are going to sort of try and work. Now, our next problem usually comes if we make the numbers go the other way. So let's look at 0.38 times 10 to the 7. This time, the decimal point wants to go the other way to make this 3.8 times 10 to the, and so it's going the other way. So this number is now going to go down. We've moved one decimal place, so this is going to be 10 to the 6. Slightly worse example, 0.08 times 10 to the 12. Well, we're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places, so this is going to become 8 times 10 to the 12 minus 3, 9. What happens when we have to take two numbers and multiply them together? So I've got 7 times 10 to the 4, and I'm going to multiply that by 3 times 10 to the 3. Now, it's easiest to try and take this sum in two parts. We're going to look at the 7 and the 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. and then we're going to multiply our indices. And as you probably know, we take our indices, and when we multiply them, we add them. So it's going to be 10 to the 4 plus a 3, which is going to give me 10 to the 7. This number's wrong. We need to have this as 2.1, and as we've done before, we're going to move the decimal point one place, so this becomes times 10 to the 8. Let's carry on. Try another one. Let's have 4 times 10 to the 3, and I'm going to multiply that by, let's say, 2 times 10 to the 5. Easy enough sum. 2 4s are 8 times 10 to the 3 plus 5, which is 8. Now, because this number didn't change decimal point, then we don't need to do any more with this one. 3 times 10 to the 8, and we'll multiply that by 3 times 10 to the 9. I'm putting these in brackets so we can see that this is all 1 unit and this is all 1 unit, and they're multiplied together. Easy enough. 3 3s are 9, and then we can add the 9 and the 8 to make 17. Now, let's have a look and see what we can do with something a little bit nastier. If I've got a number here which is going to be multiplying and producing the decimal point there, let's look at 4 times 10 to the 7, and I'm going to multiply that by 3 times 10 to the 6. Then we're going to get our 4 3s are 12, which is going to mean we're going to have to move the decimal point, times 10 to the 7 times 6, which is going to give us 13. And so we need to move the decimal point one place. So 1.2 times 10 to the 14. And let's have a look at a final nasty one. 2.5 times 10 to the minus 4. What's that going to do when we multiply that by 3 times 10 to the 9? Well, when we multiply these together, we've got 3 times 2.5, which is 7.5. And then we've got our 10s. We're going to simply add them again. So I've got 10 to the minus 4 plus 9. And that's going to give us 10 to the 5. So we've got some quite nice sort of little problems here working in standard form. When we get some of these, we can also get some others which cause some grief. And the ones that tend to cause grief is if I've got a number like 3 times 10 to the 4, this time plus 5 times 10 to the 5. Now, this causes many students lots of problems. Let's look at this by turning these numbers, first of all, into their normal form. So 3 times 10 to the 4 is going to give me 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got 5 times 10 to the 5, which is going to give me 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we add these up, we then end up with 5.3 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's not really surprising, really, when we have a look at what the numbers are when we try and multiply these together, or add them in this case. So we look at the largest number, we look at the smallest number, and we see what we can do with these. Let's make up one more sum. So let's have 2 times 10 to the 3. And this time we're going to add 4 times 10 to the 4. We look at which is the largest number, and we can then quite often by inspection see that this is going to become 4.2 times 10 to the 4. So there's a quick run through on looking at basically standard notation or scientific notation, flipping one number into the other to move from normal to standard form. We then can move from standard form to normal, and then we need to worry about multiplying them and dividing them. Dividing's a little bit more difficult, so I've left that one till last. And let's have a look at two numbers that are going to be divided by one another. So let's take a simple sum here, which is 8 times 10 to the 4, and I'm going to divide that by another number. And let's have this one divided by 2 times 10 to the 2. We're going to again split the sum into two halves. We're going to take 8 divided by 2, which is going to give me 4. And then when we divide indices, we take them away. So it's going to be 10 to the 4 minus 2, which is going to give us 10 to the 2. Let's have a look at something which is a little bit nastier, perhaps. Let's take 9 times 10 to the 17. Well, it sounds like a horrible number. And I'm going to divide that by 3 times 10 to the 4. Well, we're going to deal with the whole numbers first. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. And we've got 17 minus 4, which is going to give us 10 to the 13. We'll try one more of these. Let's have 6 times 10 to the 21. And I'm going to divide this by 2 times 10 to the 8. Divide the whole numbers first, so it's going to be 6 divided by 2, which is going to give me 3 times 10 to the, and we start with 21 minus the 8, and we can quickly work that out as 3 times 10 to the 13. So division doesn't have to be more difficult, but sometimes we get a few little problems with this. Let's look at a number like 8 times 10 to the 7, and we'll divide it by 4 times 10 to the 17. Now you'll note that this number here is bigger than that one. So as we go through trying to get this going, it's going to be 8 divided by 4, which is going to be 2, times 10 to the 7. Now, because it's again dividing, it's minus 17, which is going to give us 2 times 10 to the minus 10. Let's do another one which is awkward. Let's take a number, probably more typical sort of sum that you get, which is 4.5 times 10 to the 12, and we're going to divide this by 3 times 10 to the minus 6. Now this doesn't work out quite as you expect. 4.5 divided by 3 is going to give me 1.5 times 10 to the 12 divide, so it's going to be minus 6. Minus 6 means this becomes plus 6, so we get 1.5 times 10 to the 18, which is not necessarily what you'd expect. Another one, 6.6 times 10 to the minus 8, and we're going to divide that by 2.2 times 10 to the, well, let's go for something rash, minus 19. 2.2 into 6.6 is going to go 3 times. I make my sums easy to help me. Times 10 to the minus 8 minus 19. So minus 8 plus 19 is going to give me 3 times 10 to the 11. So these division ones tend to be some of the hardest that you actually get, and these give quite a lot of problems. So I hope that's giving you some idea about standard form, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye for now.